Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and this is another episode of Ask the Lawyers. Today we have attorney Greg Herrman here to answer our questions. And Greg is the founding partner of the law firm Herrman Herrman, with principal office in Corpus Christi, Texas, and 3 additional offices in McAllen, San Antonio, and Brownsville. And the firm concentrates on car and truck accidents, successfully resolving over 20,000 cases for their clients. We're going to do things a little differently today. Greg is going to walk us through what he calls the 7 fatal mistakes we often make after an auto accident. So trust me, you're going to want to hang around for number 7 because it may surprise you. I actually had no idea. I never thought about this, but it's great advice. So Greg, thank you for making some time for us today. I sure do appreciate it.
Sure.
So let's talk about this list. I'll just go through and you can answer the questions. First of all, number 1, what should a person do immediately at an accident scene? What sort of things?
Well, of course, the first thing to do is call 911, ask for the police to come out, or if you're out in the country somewhere, the sheriff or the DPS. But get some law enforcement out there, and then also make sure if anybody's injured that emergency services show up, so you can go, or if the other person's injured, or if any passengers are injured, they can get in the ambulance and go to the hospital.
Right. Now, you mentioned injury. Well, that brings us to question number 2. How important is it to seek medical attention and immediate medical assistance? Is that kind of, can you put it off, wait and see how you feel? What is your advice there?
You can put it off and wait and see how you feel. It's just not a good idea. Sometimes you may have a concussion, which can lead to a whole bunch of brain issues. Sometimes you may have some internal bleeding. There's just a whole lot of issues that can happen, and if you don't get seen and at least checked out, bad things that can happen. And we've seen that happen to people before, where they leave an accident scene, and what happens is your adrenaline gets going after an accident, and so it's like playing sports or something. You don't feel it while you're doing it, but then afterwards, when the adrenaline wears off, you start feeling it. And so lots of people think, "Oh, I'm fine," but you really ought to just go get checked out at the hospital or by a doctor immediately afterwards, just in case.
Now, most cases when insurance is involved, I'm going to get a call from the insurance company. Question number 3, what should I tell the insurance company, or maybe what should I not tell the insurance company when they call?
Yeah. If it's your own insurance company, you can talk to them. But if it's the adverse insurance company, you really shouldn't talk to them. Yeah, say, call my lawyer. Mm-hmm. The adjuster is not just somebody they hired off the street to make phone calls and get your side of the story. The adjuster is trained to try to figure out from the very beginning how they can deny this claim, how they can blame it all on you, and how they can get you to say, well, I'm really not hurt. Which, most people are not hurt right after accident unless it's very, very serious and, you break an arm or something, or you've got lacerations. Most people don't feel hurt. And so if somebody asks them immediately afterwards, and we see this all the time, police officers will say, "Hey, is anybody injured?" People go, "Oh, no, I'm fine." And then again, like I said, the next day after the adrenaline wears off, they try to get out of bed and they can barely move. So the adjuster lots of times will try to get a hold of you immediately too, and get you to say, "I'm not injured." And then so later on, they can use that to deny your claim and say, "Well, he told me he wasn't injured." And of course, if you end up going to court, they're going to, tell the jury that, 50 times. Well, he said he wasn't injured. He said he wasn't injured. So best idea is just don't even talk to the adjuster.
And so you mentioned to tell them to contact my attorney. Question number 4, do I need an attorney? And what if I feel like I can't afford an attorney after my accident?
Well, cost is not an issue because if most plaintiffs' personal injury firms work like we do, which is on a contingency basis, which means if we take your case, it doesn't cost you a penny until we settle your case. So if we work on your case for weeks and months and years and we don't recover any money for you, you don't owe us a penny. So anybody can afford an attorney. A cost should never be an issue. But most people do need an attorney, just if nothing else, because they start jacking you around from the very beginning on getting your car fixed and getting you in a rent car and, paying you fair market value for your car, paying you for diminished value of your car. Most people just find out when they're dealing with the adjusters, you're going to get jacked around. So you might as well just start with an attorney from the very beginning.
Because the insurance companies are using attorneys more than likely.
That's right. Or highly trained adjusters that have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years and, know how to. Their job is to save the insurance company money. Their job is not to be your friend and to take care of you. Now, they're going to tell you that's their job. Oh, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. But that's not their job.
Right.
They're being paid to save the insurance company money. And if they weren't real good at it, they wouldn't still be working there.
Next question. When I meet with my attorney, how much do I need to tell them about past accidents or medical concerns and that sort of thing? Full disclosure?
Yeah, people think if they don't tell us stuff, we're not going to find out. Well, guess what? Not only are we going to find out, but the other side's going to find out.
Right.
They're going to find out. They've got a big database of every claim you've ever made in your life. And so they're going to know about it. We need to know about it. Anything the other side's going to know about, we need to know about it. If we go to trial and we get surprised and ambushed and we're telling the jury he's never been injured before until this accident, guess what? When the other attorney pulls out your past medical records, the jury's going to hate you for lying to them and you're going to lose your case. So, most of the time we can keep out all the bad stuff. We can keep out other accidents. We can keep out crimes you've been accused of, even convictions. We can keep out all kinds of stuff if we know about it. We file these motions called motions in limine, but we can't ask the judge to keep something out if we don't know about it. So if you're hiding it from us and lying to us about it, we can't help you. So you got to be honest with us.
Makes good sense. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, next question, how much should I tell my doctor about the accident and details about that?
Now that's a different issue. Doctors and nurses, it's usually not the doctor asking you the questions anyway. He sends a nurse in there to ask you all the preliminary questions. You would be surprised how often they just write stuff down wrong because they don't really care. They're not taking a recorded statement. It's not a deposition. They're not really that interested in liability. But you tell them one thing and they write down something completely different, or they get into speeds of the vehicles and what difference does that make to a nurse or who had the red light? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. So you really just need to tell the doctor, look, I was in an accident, I was hurt.
Right.
That's all you really need to know. But we see it again and again and again where people go to the hospital or they go to the doctor and the nurse writes down some weird version of events. And so the defense lawyer or the adjuster uses that later to try to impeach our client and make our client look like he's changed his story or lying. And none of that's true. The nurse just got it wrong. And the nurse didn't really care because it really doesn't matter to her job how exactly that happened, whether the sun was in their eye, whether there was a vehicle that kept somebody from seeing something. Just none of that matters to them. So they don't really care if they get it right or not. But a good defense lawyer and a good adjuster will get those notes and try to use it against you.
Now, number 7, it was a surprise that those of us who have looked at it, and it's something I never even thought of, and I guess in today's society it's something we need to think of, and it's why should I avoid social media at all costs after an auto accident? Well,
because social media is like talking to that adjuster whose job it is to, dig up dirt on you and get you to admit it's not your fault or get you to admit you're not really hurting. What we see a lot is clients go out and they go to parties and they drink beer or they smoke weed or they do whatever, and they post pictures on their social media, and it sure doesn't look like they're injured. Yet they're claiming all these injuries, but they're out drinking beer and partying and having a good time, and then they're going to want to convince a jury later, an adjuster later, I was hurt so bad, I was in such pain, but here you are with a smile on your face and you're partying. It just doesn't, it just never good. And so
things that are put on social media, it can be admissible as evidence?
Oh, sure. It's, statements against interest, admissions. There's all kinds of ways they can come in, to go to your credibility. Again, let's say you tell the adjuster, I can't even mow my grass anymore because my back hurts so much. Yet they see you out at, taking pictures at a rave and you're, diving into an audience, or you're, you're dancing on a table, you're doing whatever.
Right.
People could say that just doesn't look like a guy that can't even mow his yard to me, or a guy that can't go back to work, and it may be the reason you're you're feeling that good, it's because you've had a lot to drink. But it's just not a good look, you know.
Right,
You're
absolutely.
saying you have problems, and the doctor's giving you medicine, and you're supposed to not be mixing the medicine with alcohol, but you're out doing it anyway. But people just find ingenious ways of screwing their case up by putting all kinds of stupid stuff on social media.
You guys, your firm offers a book, a free book that covers all of this in much more detail. How can people tell me about the book, and how can people get a copy of it?
Yeah, it's a book meant specifically for us to give to our clients to go, hey, here's how not to screw your case up. Because we see clients do it all the time. And we call it the 7 fatal mistakes that can ruin your personal injury case. You can just go to our website, hermanherrman.com, and you can request an ebook, or you can request us to mail you an actual paper copy. If you're like most people, you probably would prefer to read the paper version, and you can keep it on your shelf for forever, into like a reference book or something.
Right.
But either way, you can get the ebook, or you can request the paper book, and we'll send that to you.
Great. That's great advice. I sure really appreciate your time today, Greg, and all the good advice. Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyers. My guest has been attorney Greg Herrman, founding partner of the law firm Herrman Herrman, with the principal office in Corpus Christi, Texas. Please take a second, click on the button at the bottom of the screen so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and find out when future episodes come up. And if you or someone you know has been in an accident, you want the best information, or you are ready to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, please visit askthelawyer.com.